Dean Show's on.
Welcome to The Dean Show from Fort Wayne, Indiana. The Dean Show comes from the man who made you pay for Nova Rex, Ain't Easy Being Cheesy, and Butch Black, the Mean Man. Join Summit City Noise producer Dean Robinson for a weekly tour featuring food, music, special events, animation, and interviews with people who are getting stuff done. This is The Dean Show.
People who know me know I love comic books. That's how you know I had a blast at the most recent Fantasticon at the Grand Wayne Center in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Well, tell me about Tugg.
Well, Tugg is a real-life superhero right there in front of you. He was wrapped up in a blanket, stayed down next to the side of the highway when he was young, about 4 months, and he was left to die. He was about the size of a football, if I could hold him like that. And now, as he got better, we found out he was a superhero, so now he takes out all kinds of bad guys like stick monsters and porch swing cushions and all those really, really bad things that we didn't know were evil, right? So, because he saves the world from things we didn't even know were dangerous. And all the proceeds from everything we do all goes back to help on the rescues.
Just so I can be clear, who found him?
Well, the call came into the police department. And so a police officer actually arrived on scene first, but we were both the animal control officers.
And so now this is your dog.
He is.
Well, who does the writing and drawing?
I do the writing.
And I draw it.
He draws.
Or really, he does it all, we just take all the credit.
Well, you're documenting.
Yeah.
Here's my card.
Thank you. So you're Alan Etter.
Yeah.
So Alan, how do you describe your work?
Spontaneous. I use everything from oil pastels to coffee, markers, whatever I got. I just play around. Right now I'm working on a Wookiee with coffee.
Well, man, when did coffee become a medium?
When I ran out of water and I didn't want to get up off my chair. I had a cup of coffee there. I just dipped into it and started painting with it. So
does it limit what you can paint, or is...
No, in fact, it's great because you can get some really nice, like, flesh tones, and then what I really like about it is when it starts to dry, it gets these contour lines. So you can see that there, and I really like that. Regular watercolor doesn't do that, but coffee does that, and then I go in with bleach, and I use bleach to erase out areas and get highlights. And that came out of screwing up on a painting once, and I went down to the basement and I was like, how am I going to erase this? And I was doing some laundry and I saw the bleach, and so I just started splattering bleach, and that's what came out of it.
My name is Devon Ewing, but I go under Do Magic Illustration.
So tell me about what you do.
I do a lot of art just traditionally in markers. But my real passion is for the storytelling and the short comics.
Well, tell me about the short comics.
I have two that it's using other people's characters. I'm in the process of working on my own, but I haven't quite finished those yet. But yeah, it's more of a challenge to do those because things that would possibly show up 3 pages in might have to be reflected in the first page and things like that. It takes a lot of conscious thought, and I like it.
You're Andrew Harmon, right?
Yes, sir.
Now you got 2 versions of Harley Quinn here. You know, one's bloodied, and the other one, I guess, she's just
clean.
What's going on there?
Well, actually, the bloody version actually was from actually a social experiment. Basically, The Walking Dead was out, and everybody was starting to do zombie stuff with blood splatters and everything. So I decided, well, I'm going to take Harley Quinn because she has a mallet, and I thought I would just throw some blood splatter on it just to see how well it would sell. And actually, it's my bestseller.
Why don't you just splatter blood all over everything?
That was an idea. That was definitely an idea, but no, that's all right.
9 Mile Restaurant serves delicious food for fine dining that families can afford. 9 Mile dinner specials include baked spaghetti Monday, baby back ribs Tuesday, Wednesday night Mexican dinners, and Thursday night Italian dinners. 9 Mile Restaurant is open 7 days a week. 9 Mile Restaurant is located 9 miles south of the Allen County Courthouse on US 27 in Fort Wayne, Indiana. 9 Mile Restaurant and Catering.
Where are you going?
To Grandma's.
Uh-huh. Uh-oh. Who are you?
I'm Grandma.
Some grandma. Mm-hmm. What beautiful eyes you have. on, Grandma. I do. I do.
Restaurant is a great place for excellent food. 9 Mile Restaurant is also a great place to enjoy refreshing drinks. Check out our daily drink specials. Monday, domestic bottled beer for $1.50 and domestic draft for $1.25. Tuesday, 12-ounce drafts of Blue Moon for $2 and large pitchers for $6.50. Wednesday is Margarita Night. Margaritas for $2.50. Small pitchers for $6. $11 large pitchers, plus Corona and Dos Equis for $2.75 each. Thursday, Miller Lite, Budweiser, and Bud Light in a bottle for $2.25. Friday, Jaeger Bombs for $3.50 and Busch Light for $2. Saturday, Irish Car Bombs, 2 for $8, and Screwdrivers for $2.50. Sunday, domestic beer buckets, 5 bottles for $10. Have fun and drink responsibly at 9 Mile Restaurant. 9 Mile Restaurant and Catering.
Dose of Landis in a Landis moment. Get a dose of Landis. This is the Landis Moment.
Dose. Jeff, what's happening on the next episode of A Dose of Landis?
Well, an extra dose of Landis is actually going to be happening.
Well, what does that mean?
Well, I'm going to be having interviews that I've done on YouTube, going to air on TV for the very first time, such as an interview with Mike Boland, some stuff from Fun Spot Park footage. You're also going to see my boys wrestling inside of a wrestling ring for the very first time.
So who won?
I can't tell you. You have to tune in and watch it.
Watch A Dose of Landis, 11 p.m. Thursdays on Access Fort Wayne 2. Dose. What does apartheid in South Africa have to do with smart parking meters in Fort Wayne, Indiana? WMEE headline: Council approves new downtown parking contract. The Fort Wayne City Council approved a nearly $800,000 contract with IPS Group on an 8-1 vote last night to install new parking meters throughout downtown. WPTA headline: City Council approves purchase of new downtown parking meters. Fort Wayne City Council unanimously approved the purchase of 800 new smart parking meters. The price of parking will go from 50 cents an hour to $1.25 an hour. You can pay with coins, credit, or even an app on your phone. When I say IPS, I'm talking about International Intelligent Parking Systems. IPS Group Online. About Us. IPS Management Team. David W. King is the founder and chief executive officer of IPS Group Inc. IPS Group Inc. is headquartered in San Diego, California, with offices in Canada and Europe. King started IPS Group Pty in South Africa in 1994. In South Africa, David King was an executive for Barlow Rand Limited, the largest industrial company in the country. Funding Universe. Barlow Rand History. Barlow Rand is the largest company in South Africa and an international parent company of businesses in Southern Africa, Britain, the United States, and Europe. The group's operations are divided among 8 autonomous divisions: mining, cement, lime and paint, electronics and engineering, heavy equipment, building and construction supplies, packaging, paper and appliances, sugar, food and textiles, and group services. It's almost easier to say what it doesn't do. War and society, the militarization of South Africa. Barlow Rand is the biggest industrial corporation in the country and one of the largest South African monopolies. The corporation presents itself as an enlightened opponent of apartheid, and its chairman, Enan Michael Rasholt, regularly expound business's role in bringing about meaningful change in South Africa. Yet, despite this liberal image, the corporation is a major contributor to the repressive capacity of the apartheid state. Apartheid is white supremacy supported by politics, legislation, and law enforcement. According to Black Past, apartheid is the name of the racial institution that was established in 1948 by the National Party that governed South Africa until 1994. The term, which literally means apartness, reflected a violently repressive policy designed to ensure that whites, who comprised 20% of the nation's population, would continue to dominate the country. Biography: P.W. Botha, South African Prime Minister. Born on January 12, 1916 in South Africa, P.W. Botha rose to prominence in the right-wing National Party, which instituted the strict racial segregation system of apartheid. Botha became a youth organizer in the mid-1930s for the right-wing National Party, and during World War II worked for the Ox Wagon Fire Guard, which had Nazi allegiances. Then, in 1948, Botha would be elected to a seat in South Africa's parliament with the National Party's electoral landslide. Via 1950 legislation like the Popular Registration Act and the Group Areas Act, the majority black population endured forced segregation with extreme limitations in travel, highly reduced living standards, and restrictions in interracial relationships. Violent and deadly action against dissent was sanctioned as well. Prominent African National Congress leader Nelson Mandela, along with others, was sentenced to life imprisonment during the 1960s. Botha became South Africa's prime minister in 1978 and authorized deadly force against anti-apartheid agitators, including members of the ANC. P.W. Botha ruled as South Africa's prime minister until he eliminated the position in 1984. He then ruled as president until 1989. F. Beer de Klerk became South Africa's 7th president in 1989. F. Beer de Klerk served as Botha's Minister of National Education and Planning from 1984 to 1989. Daily Maverick, headline, Declassified, Apartheid Profits, Who Funded the National Party? Some donors were unsurprising, given their long-term complicity with the regime. Barlow Rand was one of the chief suppliers of technology to the government. In a letter written in 1988, F. Beer de Klerk informed P.W. Botha of a 50,000 Rand donation from Barlow Rand, now trading as the large conglomerate Barlow World. De Klerk notes, they prefer to keep their contribution confidential before stating that one of the company's directors, D.E. Cooper, would handle the donations. Between the 1960s and 1980s, Barlow Rand's leadership sat on P.W. Botha's Defense Advisory Board, all the while presenting itself as an enlightened opponent of apartheid. Anan Mike Rusholt served as chairman of Barlow Rand Limited from 1979 to 1991. BBC News, Dispatches, Africa, 1997. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission in South Africa, which is trying to assess who did what under apartheid, today started an investigation of the way business acted during the years of white minority rule. Mike Rusholt, the chief executive and chairman of Barlow Rand, which supplied parts to South Africa's armed forces during apartheid, bluntly told the panel, "There is no question that business acts in its own interest. And the end of apartheid came when business realized it wasn't in its interests." Mail and Guardian. Headline, Defending the Spoils of Apartheid, 1997. Apartheid bosses apparently think that keeping shop under apartheid was an innocent pursuit, like running the grocery store that Margaret Thatcher's daddy owned. The most astonishing remark made during the hearings came from the former head of Barlow Rand, Mike Rusholt, asked whether his company, the leading supplier of high-tech military technology to the regime, had colluded in human rights abuse. He replied, "I don't believe that you can repress people with avionic equipment." David W. King served as president of Telcor Pty, a large high-tech telecommunications and military electronics company. Telcor is owned by Runert Limited, which was owned by Barlow Rand from 1980 to 1993. Telcor executive David W. King started IPS Group Pty in South Africa in 1994. Bloomberg says in 2002, Mr. King relocated to the United States to oversee the creation and commercial success of IPS Group Inc. USA. The city of Fort Wayne is buying 800 smart parking meters from apartheid-era South African corporate executive David W. King and IPS Group. City of Fort Wayne Public Information Officer John Perlich says City Clerk Lana Kiesling led a responsible search and did her due diligence with assistance from a committee of city staff and community leaders in hiring a respected and reputable firm for the new parking meters. City Council agreed and authorized approval earlier this week. We're confident in the company's ability to provide needed services to our community. Fort Wayne City Clerk Lana R. Kiesling offers the following statement to Summit City Noise on December 20th, 2017. Here is the official response from Chad Robinson, COO of IPS Group. I wanted to respond directly. This is probably the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Having known Dave W. King, founder of IPS, for more than 18 years. While he is originally from South Africa, he is a U.S. citizen and has been living in the U.S. for over 15 years. In fact, I am very happy to arrange a call for you to talk to him directly if you want. A quick Google search on David C. Cunningham King, in no way associated with IPS, reveals the associated articles. My recommendation is to check your facts before making accusations against good people and good companies. Thanks. Sent by Lana Kiesling from phone. Before advising to check your facts, Fort Wayne City Clerk Lana R. Kiesling quotes IPS COO Chad Robinson, even though the COO at IPS Group is Chad P. Randall. Kiesling and Chad Robinson Randall talk about convicted South African tax fraud David Cunningham King for no reason in particular other than maybe to deflect attention away from IPS Group CEO David W. King. WPTA says Fort Wayne City Council unanimously approved the IPS parking meter contract, even though 6th District Representative Glenn Hines voted against the contract. That's only one vote shy of unanimous. So close. Like Fort Wayne Public Information Officer John Perlich, Glenn Hines identifies City Clerk Lana R. Kiesling as the person responsible for crafting the parking meter contract with IPS Group. IPS Group CEO David W. King served as a corporate executive for Barlow Rand during apartheid in South Africa. Barlow Rand, now known as Barlow World, talked a lot about opposing apartheid in South Africa. even though they were using apartheid to exploit black, colored, and Asian workers, while at the same time selling goods and services to the South African government that used imprisonment and police violence to keep dark-skinned human beings politically disenfranchised. In the United States, we call it Jim Crow. In South Africa, they call it apartheid.
Have I told you how sorry I am? Yeah, got to apologize, to the world, to everybody, I fell down, now I got to tell you about everything, all of the sex and golf, you got to know about it, you gotta know how sorry I am. I'm sorry, y'all, for that sex I had, straying from Buddhism. I gotta get back to that stuff. I gotta grab it by the leg and hold on. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, y'all, gotta say it to ya. Did you hear me now? I'm sorry, I apologize. Nike, I'm sorry, y'all. EA Sports, Electronic Arts, I'm sorry to you. PS3, Nintendo Wii, Microsoft, Xbox 360. I'm very, very sorry now, Gatorade. You quench my thirst so much better than H2O. It's better than that. So give my body what it needs, so I don't need all that sex. It's not like I'm David Duchovny out here. I ain't no Charlie Sheen, no. All I need is 18 holes, that's all. I only need 18 holes. And oh, I was oh so close to 18 holes, the 18 holes,
Thanks for watching The Dean Show. I'll be here next week.